What if I told you that the thing keeping you exhausted as a working mom isn't your impossible schedule? It's your death grip on controlling everything. That the very thing you think is keeping you together is actually tearing you apart. Yesterday, I talked about acceptance, seeing your reality clearly. But acceptance is just the first step. Today, we're talking about what comes next, the terrifying, liberating act of letting go. Here's what no one tells you about being a working mom. You become a control addict, and you don't even realize it. You're trying to control everything and everyone around you. Your kids, your partner, your work, your house, your emotions, because it's the only way you know how to make this overwhelming life bearable. You control your kids because you're terrified of them getting hurt. You control conversations to avoid conflict. You control how others see you to feel accepted. You control your schedule so nothing falls apart. You control your emotions so you don't break down in public. So you're spending your days micromanaging everyone else's lives while your own life feels completely out of control. You're exhausted from trying to orchestrate every moment, every outcome, every impression. This is not manipulation. It's survival. But here is the brutal truth. The tighter you grip, the more everything slips through your fingers. And the worst part? You think this is what being responsible looks like. You think this is what good mothers do. You think letting go means giving up. But what if I told you that your need to control everything is actually the very thing preventing you from having the life you want? Let me share something that might make you uncomfortable. Most of what you're trying to control was never yours to control in the first place. You can't control whether your child makes the right choice when you're not there. You can't control whether they experience disappointment or failure, and they need these experiences to develop resilience. You can't control whether your boss appreciates your work or whether your teenager opens up to you about their struggles. But here's what you've been doing. Trying to shield your children from every possible mistake, every disappointment, every hard lesson, not realizing that these experiences are the building blocks of their strength and wisdom. You've been trying to control other people's reactions, choices, and opinions of you. And every time something doesn't go according to your plan, which is constantly, you blame yourself. You think you didn't try hard enough, didn't plan well enough, didn't do enough. And the truth is, you're not failing at control. Control is failing you. Here's what nobody talks about. When you're trying to control everything, you're actually robbing your children of the very chance to develop their own problem-solving skills, resilience, and sense of capability. When you're micromanaging their every move, they learn to depend on your judgment instead of developing their own. But here's the thing. The person who got you where you are today isn't the person who will get you where you want to be. These old beliefs and convictions about control that helped you survive, they're now preventing you from thriving. Letting go isn't about becoming careless. It's about opening up to a new possibility of dealing with your reality so you can actually create something new. So let me show you what letting go actually looks like for a working mom. It goes like this. I can't control whether my child makes mistakes, but I can control whether I'm there to support them through the consequences. Or I can't control whether my teenager tells me everything, but I can control whether I create a safe space for them to share when they're ready. Also, I can't control whether my presentation gets approved, but I can control whether I do my best work. I can't control whether my house looks perfect when people come over, but I can control whether I enjoy having them. I can't control whether I get everything done today, but I can control what I prioritize. When I stopped trying to control outcomes and started focusing on what I could actually control, like showing up with love, being present, creating space for others and their experiences, including mine, that's when the magic happened. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring about the right things. Here's what changes when you practice letting go. You stop wasting energy on battles you cannot win and start putting energy into changes you can make. You stop trying to manage everyone else's experience and start managing your own responses. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the creator of your choices within those circumstances. Most importantly, you model for your children what it looks like to be a human being instead of a human doing. But let's be honest about why letting go feels so scary. It's not really about control. It's about love. You control because you love fiercely and protectively. You micromanage because you can see dangers and opportunities your children can't see yet. You try to orchestrate perfect outcomes because you want to spare them pain and set them up for success. But here is the paradox. The more you try to control out of love, the less your children learn to navigate life independently, and the less love actually gets through. When you're focused on controlling your child's choices, you miss the opportunity to guide their decision-making process. When you focus on preventing their mistakes, you miss the opportunity to teach them how to recover from setbacks. Letting go isn't about loving less. It's about loving more wisely. It's trusting that your love doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. It's trusting that your children are more capable than you think they are. It's trusting that some lessons can only be learned through experience, not instruction. It's trusting that you are enough exactly as you are without controlling everything around you. So the most loving thing you can do is to show up as your authentic, imperfect self and trust your children to develop their own authentic and imperfect selves. Here is what happens when you start letting go. You discover that you're actually more effective when you're not trying to control everything. You realize that your kids respond better to your presence than your perfection. You find that your work improves when you stop trying to anticipate every possible outcome. You start to trust yourself. Not to be perfect, but to handle whatever comes. You start to trust your children, not to never make mistakes, but to learn from them. And you start to learn the process, not to always go according to plan, but to lead somewhere meaningful. And here is the beautiful thing. When you let go of controlling everything, you finally have space to create something new. You can't design a life that actually works for you while you're still trying to force a life that doesn't. This is where you become the person who can get you where you want to be. Letting go creates the spaciousness you need to build differently. So here is your practice for this week. Every time you catch yourself trying to control an outcome, pause and ask, what would I do if I trusted this to work out? What would I do if I focused only on what's actually mine to control? Start small. Maybe it's letting your kids choose their own clothes without commenting. Maybe it's sending that work email without obsessing over every word. Maybe it's saying no to something without a 10-minute explanation. Practice releasing your grip on outcomes and tightening your grip on your values, your presence, your authentic response. Because once you learn to let go of what was never yours to control, you finally have the energy to create what is yours to create. And that's what we're talking about on the next video. How to design a system that actually works for your life, not the life you think you should have. Let me know in the comments, what's the hardest thing for you to let go of as a working mom? Your honesty helps other moms realize they're not alone in this struggle. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk about designing a life that works for you, not against you. Remember, you don't have to control everything to create everything. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let go.